So I'm making my way to some ruins, and the ruins of a castle built in 1052. Now this is Hereford Castle, just north of Leeds there. This long walled walk here, which dates back to I think around the 1700s. So this is the walk in off a public footpath just off the village behind me. So I've just got to follow this walled walk here, and then we'll get to the castle a few hundred metres away. So I've just come through to a clearing through the walled walk there, and the ruins of Hereford Castle is 200 metres down there. So let's go and check it out. So this castle was built in 1052, so we've got over 1,000 years history there, and I've heard it's a little bit spooky around there. So let's hope if there's any spooks around they don't drain my batteries, because that's usually what, when there's things around like that, that's what you usually do, drain all electric devices. And then it's just revealing itself around the tree line there. Good I've got my boots on because it's a bit boggy and wet here. This could be around 1,000 years old, this piece of masonry. So you can see where the stairs used to go around. And it just goes all the way up. Steep stairs. Now we're in the basement area. Looks like this was one of the entrances. Look at these, what supported big stone archways. And you can clearly see all around this area it's slightly dug out there, so I can only imagine back in the day, obviously these trees wasn't there 1,000 years ago. I can just imagine that this were, well, their garden if you like, and this is at the rear of Hereford Castle. And down at the front you've just got the pathway, and then just about 500 metres that way we've got a river. And you always find that with castles, don't you? They needed to be near a water source. So just can imagine that this be a nice lush garden with all shrubs and plants everywhere. And then if you just make your way to the side of the castle here, you got these mounds which look to be artificially dug up there, and you can see that maybe this used to be a road back in the day. Again, obviously these trees wasn't there in the road, but that river's just over there a few hundred metres away, so maybe this is the way they used to go and get water. Just make out that triangle shape there, so you could see it used to be some kind of porch or extension there, or an overhang. Who knows what it used to be, but you can clearly see the indentation there. Some kind of structure. Just on the archway over there where I'm pointing, you can make that out. It's still got like a lion shield engraved in stone. And then just on the other archway, centre frame, they've faded away unfortunately. But I dare bet I would say they're around 1,000 years old as well. So I've seen these on quite a lot of castles I've visited, and they're used for defence, for throwing hot sand or boiling water onto enemies below. Now whether it was used for that or whether it was just for show, I don't know. But I certainly won't want to be underneath that when they're pouring the hot sand and boiling water. So as I said earlier, obviously there were no trees here, and that's like a level back entrance there, what looked like it belonged to this castle. I'm no tree expert, but look at girth on this. This is a really big tree. Look at this, I'll take you all the way around. This is, like I said, I'm no tree expert, but I'd guess this is a few hundred-year old, this one. Put in the comments what kind of tree this is. I think it's an oak tree, I'm not sure though. The reason I say that is because it's obviously marked. So it's protected. But yeah, you're looking a few hundred-year-old there, aren't you? Easy. Whereas all these trees you can see, they're nowhere near that age. You can just imagine how big this used to be, as that's the very top. You can see how it's all corroded around the edges. That was one tall castle. So this bit at the front looks like, you know, when they launched a siege on a castle. Very similar to other castles what I've seen. It's like it's been really hammered, this bit. And then as you can see, that's a doorway there. So I don't know what this used to be. Sewage system. Look that there. It's all the way up to the top. So I think this is the remains of a toilet over here. Just walk through this way. And then we've got where you'd sit. There we just have a little window. So I think that's saying it. And that's where he put his toilet roll, look. Or his phone. When he wanted to charge his phone, he left it on there. So I think that's a toilet, to be fair. So as you then walk back out of there, and you could see where it went, and that walks straight back into the castle. Yeah, looking at it more closely, that were definitely toilet. Nice. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. As you can see inside of there were many levels. I counted around 6 levels there. That's from the basement, and then 5 more levels up there. And that's the only toilet I could find. Not for me to use, obviously. Well, that was quite interesting, to be fair. And it is a shame, after all them years, from that being built 1,000 years ago, it's just left like that. I know it got passed down the generations, and then what usually happens, someone can't afford to keep the upkeep, and then it just gets left to be vandalised and to decay, especially when that roof's off. Now I'm just going to make my way back to the car. It's across this path and then through that, what I call a wall walk. I'm not actually on a wall, but it's just looks like a wall, innit? So I call it a wall walk. And that to me looks like 17th century. It's nowhere near as old as that. You can tell by the brickwork up here. So we'll just have another little look at that before I get back to the car. So as always, do stay tuned to the channel. There's going to be plenty more videos on the horizon. But for now, thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and bye for now.